in the deepest part of the forest, so deep that even the sun had given up on the people there and only shines once a year, and even then. In the depth of that darkness lives Babaroga. Bila jedna pečena stroga, u kojoj živi Babaroga. And as if the darkness of that forest was not enough for Babaroga, she makes her home in the darkest of caves. There's a fence surrounding that cave with skulls on it. They say that they might be the skulls of all the children that she had eaten. But we don't know. But what we know is that at night, Babaroga sticks out her horn, jumps on the horse, and she rides that horse all through the country looking for homes that have their lights on, for children that are misbehaving, for children that are not sleeping at night. And then she snatches those children, puts them in a sack, throws them over her shoulder, and she rides away with them. Nobody knows where she takes those children. For no child that has ever been taken by Babaroga has ever returned. Bila jedna pečena stroga, u kojoj živi Babaroga. And in that same country where Babaroga still lives, lived Baba Anujka, coined as the Balkans' first serial killer. She killed men, many men, as many as 150 men. Anna Drushkin was born in 1836 in Romania. She was born to a well-to-do family, went to a private school, learned 5 different languages, lived in a happy home. But one day, when 8-year-old Anna tried to rise up from bed to go to school, she could not get up. She was paralyzed from waist down. Her parents hired the best doctors, but nobody could figure out a cure for Anna. Then came the women. The old women dressed in black surrounded Anna's bed. And they stared at Anna. And Anna looked at them back. And then they prophesied, because the child fell ill for no real reason at all, this could mean that she would grow up to be a healer, a vrachara.
I was paralyzed at just 8. It was then I knew this would be my fate. The healer said my time would come to harness the powers of the moon and sun, to harness the powers of the moon and sun.
And then one day, Anna just rose up out of her bed and started to walk. She walked while she was awake, and she walked while she was asleep. The old women, seeing Anna walking, sleepwalking, this confirmed their prophecies that she would be a vrachara. Her parents moved her away to Serbia, to a small military town called Vladimirovac. She continued to sleepwalk even there, until one day at age 20, she suddenly stopped sleepwalking as she met a young, handsome man, and she fell in love. There was nothing that Anna would not do for that man. There was nothing that Anna would not do with that man. But her love was short-lived when she contracted syphilis from him, and he left her for another woman and moved away. Broken by love, Anna locked herself in her parents' room and she began to study chemistry. Now she was in her mid-20s and not interested in men at all. Her father, watching his daughter waste her beauty away, arranged a marriage for her to a much older man. He was a military officer and owned some land. And Anna planted some herbs on that land. She started getting pregnant 11 times. But out of those 11 pregnancies, only one of them survived till adulthood. She remembered the old women in Romania, as her husband died when she was just 50. She was meant to be a vrachara. She made a lab inside of her home, and she began to study the powers of all the plants in that village: Kadulja, Tatulja, Javolska trava. And when she perfected it, she renamed herself to Baba Anujka and hired a professional woman.
A professional gossiper.
And the professional gossiper, walked all through that village, eavesdropping, to find out who was having marital issues, who wanted to escape military service. And then she would direct them to Baba Anujka. First came the men, young men, trying to escape military service. Baba Anujka would ask them to bring her one white and one black chicken, because the world is both black and white, some herbs, some ashes, and some flour. Then she would go inside of her lab and make a potion that would make them sick enough to escape military service, but not sick enough to die. One day, as Baba Anujka sat at her windowsill, she saw two young men coming back from a dance. Across from them, some young women. They began to hassle the young women. It was a hot summer night. She went inside and she took some potion and lemonade. Dečki, hoćete malo limunade da vas osvježi? They drank the lemonade, and 2 days later, they were dead. Then came the women. First it was Liliana, bruised and bloody. Then it was Ivana, jumping at each sound that she heard. Then it was Svetlana, speaking in words of whisper. I fear that tonight might be my last.
Come, dear child, what brings you here?
težak vaš problem?
How heavy is your problem?
And she would run inside of the lab and make a potion just the right strength and hand it to the woman. Za 8 dana nećete više imat problem. In 8 days, your problem will be solved. The women left, potion in their hands, feeling lighter. What else did the women have? There were no women's shelters at that time. The first women's shelter to open up in the Balkans was in 1996. This was the 1800s. A man could do as he wishes to his wife, rape her, beat her. All those women had was Baba Anujka. She was their vračara.
My magic is not black or white. I am neither wrong nor right. I cure the problems brought to me using ashes, herbs, and alchemy. Using ashes, herbs, and alchemy.
Witch, they called her. Children walked past her house singing. Bila jedna pećina stroga, u kojoj živi Baba Roga. They arrested 84-year-old Baba Anujka. But they had no evidence, so they released her. But now, Baba Anujka was famous. People were coming from as far as Slovenia. Potions were being made. Money was being poured. Baba Anujka was living well. Until one day, Stana came. She took a potion from Baba Anujka, gave it to her husband. 8 days later, he was dead. She then instantly remarried, took another potion, gave it to her husband's uncle. 8 days later, he too was dead. The police came to take away Stana. It wasn't me. I went to Baba Anujka to help me with my marriage, and she killed my beloved husband.
They say I took over 100 lives, but I cured 1,000,000 unhappy wives. When the sickness is society, the cost is high to set the patient free. The cost is high to set the patient free.
They arrested 86-year-old Baba Anujka. They sentenced her to 15 years in prison. But she only served 8 years because when the autopsies were done, they only found arsenic in the 2 bodies and not enough to kill somebody. So they said that she was now very old, 96, and she was released. Baba Anujka spent the rest of her days quiet until she died at age 104. The day that Baba Anujka died, there was a vicious storm. And the people of Vladimirovat said that the storm came to take Baba Anujka away. But years after Baba Anujka died, people still feared her. For every once in a while, possibly when women were being mistreated, they could see signs of Baba Anujka.
Come, dear child, what brings you here? Tell me your troubles, tell me your fears. make it light. For all strong magic there's a price to pay, but it will all be over in just 8 days. It will all be over in just 8 days. I was paralyzed at just 8. It was then I knew this would be my fate. The healer said my time would come to harness the power of the moon and sun, to harness the power of the moon and sun. My gifts lay sleeping in early life. I was daughter, lover, mother and wife. But at 50 years my fate found me, and I became what I was meant to be. I became what I was meant to be. The cures and potions that I sold filled my pockets with riches and gold. I even treated those who could not pay. I never turned anyone away. I never turned anyone away. At 86, I was tried. Too many client relations had died. The trial only spread my name, and my practice grew. With my fame, my practice grew. With my fame. They say I took over 100 lives, but I cured 1,000,000 unhappy wives. When the sickness is society, the cost is high to set the patient free. The cost is high to set the patient free. Though convicted in my defense, they never found enough evidence. So I was released in my final days. At 104, a storm took me away. At 104, a storm took me away. My magic is not black or white. I am neither wrong nor right. I cure the problems brought to me using ashes, herbs,